Alright, I just watched the new Star Wars, The Last Jedi movie, and I want to go over some of the likes and dislikes about the movie that I saw. I'm going to go over likes first. First thing I liked was the Dreadnought ship. That was pretty badass. That was real big and bulky and intimidating. I wish that would have played a bigger role in the movie. Really cool. The second thing I liked Snoke's ship. That was pretty badass too. Real big and bulky. Where were those? I mean, I thought the Star Destroyers were the biggest, coolest ships of the Empire, but these two things were pretty badass. Snoke's guards, those guys were awesome. When they first showed them, I was like, please let those guys fight somebody. And then they ended up fighting Rey and Kylo Ren, which I was really happy with. Those guys were pretty badass. I remember the Imperial Royal Guards from the original trilogy and seeing them guys and wishing they would have fought somebody. But these guys were pretty badass. They fought pretty badass, but you know they all ultimately died. But pretty cool. Glad to see those guys in there. Yoda. I liked Yoda. Yoda made an appearance in a little cameo, which I was pretty cool to see. It's cool to see Yoda still giving Luke some words of wisdom and some guidance. That was really cool. Another thing I liked was Luke's way of dying. It was, I guess, a passing for him. Like he completed what he was waiting to do. I guess he was still there in solitude. I guess I'm not sure, waiting to have achieved something, to have helped somebody in some way. Well, this was, I guess, his way of passing. I know doing what he did drained all his energy, which probably ultimately would have killed him too, but it was good to see the way he died, not being killed by a lightsaber, but by the goodness in his heart and the energy that he put into it. That was pretty cool. The way the rebellion destroyed Snoke's ship by that lady just driving into light speed and into it and destroying it in that way, that was pretty badass. That was cool. I didn't see that coming. That was really, really cool how they destroyed that. The new AT-AT walkers, those were pretty intimidating and badass. I like those. Those were pretty much all the things I liked about the movie. I'm sure there's some other stuff that I can't think of, but I'm going to go over the things that I disliked about the movie. The bombers. The bombers, in my opinion, were very useless. They were slow, bulky, not used very well. And again, they used them in space against the Dreadnought. In space, there's no gravity, so how these bombers would have destroyed anything with bombs dropping, there's no gravity to pull these bombs down on anything. So I don't know. I think the bombers would have been more useful on the planet at the end against the AT-AT walkers. That would have been cool to see. Made a little bit more sense to me. And another thing on Snoke's ship, when they were constantly shooting those artillery kind of style shells at the rebel ship. There's no gravity in space, but yet these artillery shells from the Snoke's ship were doing the artillery kind of style up and under. They were just being lobbed over at the rebel ship, which that's impossible in space, which I wasn't a big fan of. But anyway. I didn't like the whole story behind them going down to the planet to find the code breaker. That, to me, was just... I didn't like it at all. I didn't like any part of it. It was just boring. It didn't really come to any conclusion. It didn't help anything. All it did was help them get into the door and ultimately get stopped, regardless. Which, it was just a waste of time for me. I think they could have did something better for filler time, but that was just a waste for me. When Rey went to go see Luke, she almost got zero training from Luke. I don't know if Luke really even trained her as far as sitting her down and saying, cross your legs and think very hardly or whatever. You know, very hard. That was the gist of her training from Luke. But I don't know. That was kind of disappointing to me. I would have liked to see Rey go through some more training from Luke while she was there. Um the whole battle on the planet at the very end when uh, the Empire or the First Order goes down to I guess to destroy the remaining people on the of the Empire or the Rebellion. I didn't like the whole setup. The whole AT-AT Walker thing was really really cool. That was badass. What I didn't like was the uh, the gun on the ground, that big battering ram that they brought with them. To me, that whole scene right there felt like I was watching the scene of the Lord of the Rings where the orcs and the trolls were pulling that big battering ram up to Helm's Deep, and they're just hitting the door on Helm's Deep. That's what it felt like to me. Like all the AT-AT walkers were the trolls, and that battering ram was there just to bust in the door, just like on Helm's Deep. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw that scene. Another thing I didn't like about it is the battering ram had to be pulled to a point. I mean, why would you not make a complete, movable machine out of that battering ram, where instead of having to be pulled by two other things? I didn't like the whole idea. It just was silly to me, but not very well thought out. But anyway, those are my likes and dislikes. Tell me what you guys think. Overall, the movie was okay. I didn't dislike it, but I didn't really like it either. But just tell me what you guys think. Leave comments down below, and thank you for watching.